Boom.
Ah! We're back. It's the OT show. I'm your host E.
Yo, I'm G. Let's go get it, bro. Let's go
Yo,
get it.
hey man, hey, is it me? But I'm tired of snow, bro. Like I don't need snow no more.
Listen, I'm I was tired of snow, and then I saw what was going on in Texas. I was like, yeah, never mind, I'm good.
I mean,
I was like, I
yeah.
ain't
Nah,
complaining
fact.
about nothing. I was like,
That
this,
is
this,
yeah,
this little quarter-inch of snow we got. I was like, I ain't worried about nothing, man.
yeah.
Texas,
Nah, with that said, man, prayers out to everybody in Texas, man, because that's
one
that.
hundred percent.
Yeah, nah, that's crazy, man. Hey, speaking of Texas and everything they got going on, why is your man Ted Cruz under smoke like that, man?
Ted, what's going on with Ted, y'all? Like, we know it's Ted.
Yeah, well, yeah. With that said, yeah, it's Ted.
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? Like, what do you expect? What do you
this is true.
expect? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot, man. It's a lot, man. But it's weird how all these things are coming down now. Like you're starting to see things revealed. You're starting to see like behaviors. You starting to see everything's starting to get a little weird, a little wonky right now, man.
But then if like Ted, so Ted Han he botched it anyway. Which so basically what Ted Cruz did, he fled the country. He went to
Mm-hmm.
Cancun or wherever he was going to
Mm-hmm.
on like a vacation or whatever. So he caught a lot of flack because he's a public figure. He's a government worker or whatever. He's a senator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a senator. So they expected him to, which was funny. They would criticize him for leaving the state of Texas while they were under attack by the weather or whatever. And so he caught a lot of flack for that. But it's funny because it's just like, all right, so yeah, it's funny because I'm like, all right, so what was Ted Cruz going to do anyway?
Yeah, it's just not a good look.
I
I
mean, it's
think
not
that's
a
what
good look, but
I think
yeah,
it's just not a good look. Like
all right,
in
fair.
principle, there's nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Not and when I say in principle, like technically, there's nothing like wrong. He's grown man. He go where he want to go, but still.
Bro, come on, man. It's Ted Cruz. Like, what do you expect, yeah? Like, come
But
on. Dog.
and I think when we see stories like this, people really got to understand. Consider your source. Consider who you talking
Yeah.
about. Let's come on. Consider who you talking
Uh,
about.
Yo.
It's Ted Cruz.
Yeah, like the outrage is hilarious. Yeah? Like it's
Let me tell you something.
Ted
I just
Cruz.
feel like anybody who's named Ted can make bad decisions. Like if your
I
name is
mean,
Ted, I don't follow people named Ted. Ted
think about it.
DiBiase. Like
I
I
mean,
don't follow nobody named Ted.
we do have a history of Ted's. We got a good sample size, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
Ted Bundy.
I mean
Hey, Bill and Ted.
Teddy Ruxpin. I still don't trust that little evil doll, bro.
Oh nah, hell nah, yeah.
Now put a tape
Teddy,
in his back, he just be talking. I don't know. I don't like the way he looks.
whole time Teddy Ruxpin he was really a spawn. I mean, he was like the father of Chucky, son.
Exactly, bro. It's weird. It's weird. It's got a lot to do with spirits. I don't like it.
Nah. I was never a fan
I
of
don't
Teddy
like it.
Ruxpin, son. It was always weird to me, son.
Yeah. And then when he was off, he just be like, I don't like that
Nah,
guy.
ne- nah. On a sadder note, man, we got a couple RIPs, man. First, I want to say rest in peace to a teammate of mine. He played with me as our friendly high man.
Yeah.
My man Cortez Stink Davis, man. Yeah, man, he was a dude, hell of a baller, man. Probably one of probably the best baller I've played with
Hmm.
ever to me personally.
Yeah.
Um, sorry for the misspelling. It's a Z, not an S, but
Oh,
it's all good.
yeah.
but but nah, man, dude, hell of a baller, man. He passed recently. Actually, the funeral's today, matter of fact. So now prayers to his family.
Yeah.
Dude, like it was. it's crazy to like you see like people like he was a special guy, man. Like because I played with some good ballers, man. I can honestly say
Mhm.
he was the best one I've ever played with. And to see like he was very Kevin Durant esque, yeah. Like
Mm.
Kevin Durant, like he was 6'7",
Mhm.
and you gotta think about it, that was big for like high school. He wasn't a big man though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a big man. Like he was 6'7", but he was playing like two guard and small forward. And but he wasn't a big man. And that was big, like to be in high school doing that. That was
Yeah.
crazy. And
Yeah.
he was the first player I personally played that was that big and that was quick and he was agile. And yeah, nah, it's definitely a tragedy, man. So like I said, rest in peace, man. And just prayers to his family. I know it's difficult. Anytime you lose a loved one, man, you lose a brother, a son is always a difficult thing, man.
Yeah.
Now, so rest in peace to the brother Cortez Stink Davis,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely. And prayers to the family and everybody who his loved ones, everybody,
Dude, it
So
flipped me
it's a
out,
tough
man.
thing.
Dude, it flipped me out. I never forget, man. When I was in 12th grade, he was featured in Sports Illustrated at one point, like, cause
Wow.
yeah, he went to ABCD camp
Okay.
and he ended up going there because he got an invite and dude, he ended up doing this thing and they actually had him. It was crazy. They had a photo of him and they had the feature about talk about the camp.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh snap! I played with that dude. Like,
You felt famous. You felt famous.
I was like, no, it was crazy. Like, I played with him, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Felt had your 10-minute famous moment. You was like, yeah,
Yeah, well, man. Hey, look, hey, I was happy just to share the court with him, man. You know?
exactly, man. That's a blessing.
Yeah, nah, facts, man.
That's a blessing, man. Also, rest in peace to Prince Marky D from the Fat Boys, man, hip hop legend. Yeah, man. Man, 2021, dude. Like, whew,
I just feel like 2021 is deluxe version of 2020, bro. I tell people that all the time, yeah.
it's a mixtape version.
It's deluxe, man. You know how they remix it to come back with a couple extra songs? Just
Yeah,
deluxe package, yeah.
it feels weird, man. It's I tell you one of the oddest things that I started to see with this push to open up schools and stuff, right? And so with them trying to open up schools last year, they was hating on Trump for opening up schools, and now you got Biden come in, and Biden's like, he basically saying kind of the same thing that Trump said
Yeah.
about opening up schools, and like, well, kids don't get it as much, like kids don't die from it as much as whatever,
No.
and like stuff like that. And I'm just like, yo, what? Like, y'all
Hey
crucified
yo,
Trump for that, and I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm saying you crucified Trump for that. Flip of a coin. Like, what's going on, man? Like, it's just weird, man.
bro, I'm gonna tell you what they did, yo. The Democrats used the pandemic, bro. It was a
Oh,
perfect, it was a perfect storm for them, and they milked it, bro.
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And then Trump didn't help it, but they milked it, yeah, and they did, and he shot himself in the foot, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you, if it wasn't for the pandemic, though, he would have still been president, son.
Oh, easy. Yeah, yeah. Like yeah, yeah. Especially, I mean, it's so much stuff that like people were woken to when you in the house and you got constant news coverage, and you constantly, and the news is the only thing that you're looking at, and it's just constantly in your head. You'll start to see everything differently, and yeah, like it really was like because you would just see like for the first time I've ever seen this was reporters when they would report the news, they would roll their eyes and they'd be like, in other news, President Trump, like they would do stuff like that, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
like whoa, like they really carrying it like that, and so they drove home a narrative and boom, got
Yeah,
him
they
up.
kept. Yep, and they kept it going, man.
Yeah, man. So no enough political talk. We let you and Theo get into that because when it comes to politics talk, yeah, yeah, I'm out
Nah,
of
man.
my.
Hey, and with that said, man, check out my man Theo Thinks, man. We doing a mini series on Black History,
Yes.
which is actually the episode's out today. So it'll be out next Friday as well, man. Yeah, dude, I love doing the episodes on the miniseries with him, man. Like we had the first miniseries we did was the conservative liberals podcast,
Hmm.
a little
Hmm.
miniseries with that, and but yeah, dude, go check it out, man. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah. So enough of our jabbering on, man. We got a guest today, man. We got company, man. We got to clean up.
Yeah, man. We
We
gotta,
got to clean up. We got company, bro.
hide the shoes, man.
Yeah,
Vacuum the floor. You know
yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? Put the clothes away.
Yeah,
You
wash the
know what I'm
dishes
saying?
real quick. You don't want to
Yeah,
let nobody
yeah.
know you funky.
You know what I'm saying? Spray the Lysol. And with that said, man, as y'all know, this is a show for extraordinary, ordinary people.
Yep.
And today we have an extraordinary, ordinary guest, man. Hey, with what's going on now, we I think Black people are now starting to wake up to financial literacy.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we have a good person to come on and just have that discussion with us, man. With that said, man, I want to bring on the financial health mentor, Cortez Hustle, man. Welcome to the show,
Oh,
brother.
Hey, man, thank you guys so much for having me. Can you hear me okay?
oh yeah,
Yes,
man.
we got you. We good. We good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Enjoying the
So,
commentary, by the way, man. You guys are hilarious.
I appreciate it, man.
We try to be. It's easy when you try to deal with the world the way it is right now. So
Yeah, right.
material writes itself.
Gotcha.
No, but so let's get to it, man. How did you get into your profession, man?
Well, like a lot of us, man, came up on the poor side of the tracks. I'm fourth born of 6 children, raised by a single mom on welfare. Struggled with money. I was a kid who said, man, if I could just figure out how to feed myself, that'll take a little pressure off my mom.
Mm.
So I would go out and shovel snow and rake leaves and pump gas and all that kind of stuff, man. And in St. Louis, we have the rice houses all over the place. And I remember a box of rice, a small box of rice would cost 90 cents. So my brothers and I would go hang out at the gas stations and hey, can I pump your gas for a little change? Hey, lady, that's a nice dress you got on. You don't want to mess that dress up. Let me go ahead and pump that gas for you for a change. And that was actually enough money for me to get a few quarters to play the video games, but then also enough. It's like, hey, man, if I can just get a box of rice, I can split it with my brothers. That's 2 less mouths that my mom has to feed. And coming up like that, man, it kind of led me down the path to wonder what it is that wealthy people do differently. Because I had already made up in my mind, they're not smarter than us. They don't work harder than us, but they must know something that we don't know. And I set out on a quest to find out what that was. And 6 years ago, almost to the date, I was introduced to a group called the Extra Digit Movement, where Brian Bean, my personal coach and mentor, started sharing with me some strategies on how not just to build wealth, but to build wealth from scratch, because there's no shortage of people. If you got 10 racks, 20 racks, 30 racks, there's no shortage of people that can tell you what to do with that money to grow it. But very few people was talking about, hey, what if you got 0? How do you start building from there? And that's what this community did for me. And they shared some strategy with me that blew my mind. I fell in love with the whole premise of economic empowerment, especially for our community. And when it comes to doing it from scratch, man, ain't nobody in the lower position than us and having to do it from scratch. So for the last 6 years, man, I've been on a mission to empower our people economically. My emphasis is on financial literacy, but in particular, entrepreneurship and personal brand development, because I think the shortest distance between working class and wealth is entrepreneurship.
Nah, without a doubt, without a doubt. So, who are some of the people that inspired you?
Most definitely, people like Robert Kiyosaki. I think that was the first book that I picked up and kind of opened my eyes to
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, and Dr. Dennis Kimbrough is another guy. I heard a lot of his lectures early on this journey. Dr. Boyce Watkins has always been doing this thing and very, very influential. And he is one of the few that really focuses on entrepreneurship as well. And no disrespect to a Dave Ramsey or a Susie Orman and those guys who are doing similar work, but they tell you to do something other than what they are doing, right? So Dave Ramsey has a lot of good advice in terms of what to do, get out of debt and all of that stuff. But I like to watch what people do, not what they say. He's saying cut up your credit cards, but he's building a business. Right.
Exactly.
He's doing something different. Susie Orman is saying, here's what you could do with your money, but she's building a business around this platform of financial literacy. So I think more of us really need to investigate entrepreneurship, and in particular, starting with a gift, talent, or special ability that we already have. I read a quote a couple years ago that really sealed the deal for me. And it said, wealthy people find one or two ways to get paid for one or two things that they already love to do, and they build a brand and a system around it. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
That makes perfect sense, though. Hence the podcast. Like this is like funny you said that, because the conversation that we have on the podcast is the conversation we would have at lunch, the conversation we would have at the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
Why not build something where you can actually make some money from, and you doing it, you love it though.
You get paid to kick it with your friends.
Right.
Absolutely. I think that's the best way to go. And on a deeper note, I think we all got these passions for a reason. And I think the reason that you have certain passions, that because you can't think about when I actually developed a passion for something, it's kind of just always been there. Well, I think it's put there by God so that your passion is designed to lead you to your purpose. And I think when you start walking in your purpose, there you will also find your provision. Because God doesn't say, I created you for this thing. And while you're walking this assignment, you got to figure out how to feed, clothe, and house yourself. No, he said, because you're walking this thing, all of these other things are going to be taken care of for you. I think the problem is we got a school system that really steered us away from our passions early on, steered us down the path of job, work for someone else. And as a result, we start that path of trying to use a job to feed ourselves. We never really get back to our passions, or we never find out how to make our passions feed us. And if my premise is right, that means if we never find out how our passions can feed us, we'll never find our purpose. So I try to help people get back to that passion and use that as a catalyst for building wealth.
And I think too, like what ends up happening is that, like, you start out, because it's all the mentality, because when you grow up, they tell you, go to college, then get that good government job. That's pretty much, the steps. And then when you got that good government job, then you got that freedom, then you got that this, you got that, but you got debt too. And so I don't care whatever amount of money you make, you still got probably a third of that going to, student loans, or your car note, or you got, whatever else. And so, and by the time you're in that system and you're doing it, you've gotten a family, you've gotten married, whatever. And then it's like, man, I got to get back to my passion. I want to get back to that. But by that time you feel like you're stuck. You feel like, okay, what do I do now? Because I'm the breadwinner, or I'm the whoever. Like, what do I do now? So, like, I know a lot of people out there are kind of facing those things now.
Yeah, you got obligations, and that's kind of the trap, right? Yeah. It's like the minute that first kid pops out, it's like, hey man, forget the passion. Passion don't pay right now. I gotta put diapers on this boy, this girl. I gotta get this formula popping. And you kind of get locked into that. And before you know it, man, it's funny. People always say life is short. And I agree, but it's also surprisingly long. And you look up and 50 years then pass, and it's like, whoa, I never did get back to the thing I love. Then you spend your last 10, 15 years regretting. And, as Jim Rohn says, you're going to face two pains, man, either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So pick your pain. I'm choosing to pick my pain of discipline right now so that I don't have to live a life of regret later.
Nah, that's perfect, man. I think if anything, man, I feel like for me personally, I think that's what the pandemic has done. I feel like it's starting to be a renaissance when it comes to black entrepreneurs, and I think the pandemic has definitely opened that window for us, man.
Yeah, I agree, and not so much as a renaissance as social media has allowed us to see so many more of us.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts,
It's
facts.
like we're here, we've always been here, and a lot of us have just kind of been under the radar, just doing our thing, man. Because I'll tell you, most entrepreneurs don't have time to be doing anything other than growing the brand or growing the business, growing the revenue. But since social media plays a part in us expanding the brand, you see a lot more people publicly showing their entrepreneurial side. But that's one of the things about us, man. I tell everybody, we don't often have a get money problem because we some of the money getting people on this planet.
Oh yeah.
What we do have, though, is a cash flow problem. Too much of our cash is always flowing away from us. And we've got to fix that. And entrepreneurship is the perfect way to do it because the number one wealth building tool in the entire world is the United States tax code. That's why people literally put their lives on the line to come here to start a business. They don't come here to get a job, but we were born here and we were indoctrinated that we need to get a job, right? So we have to flip that dichotomy and say, listen, entrepreneurship is the way to go. And I like to say it like this. We were already born sole proprietors. Your social security number is really an EIN number.
Right.
They call it a social security number if you're not doing business. The minute you start doing business, they're like, oh, this is the EIN number. You get tax write-offs and all that kind of stuff, right?
You separate it.
The cost for not doing business in this country is high taxes. And I don't care who you are, if you're losing 40% of your income to any other entity, Uncle Sam, to the clubs, to wherever, if you're losing 40% of your income, you can hang it up when it comes to building wealth. So one of the things that entrepreneurship does, it allows you to stop that bleeding. And then if you're smart, you can do some other things with that money.
Now, without a doubt, I can vouch for that. Shout out to Nah. So what, like you said, I got one question for you. We talked about this on another show I was on. How do you feel about reparations for Black people?
I feel that it's definitely earned. I'm just not holding my breath. I mean, it's owed, but I'm not holding my breath because one of the things that we have a habit of doing is talking about the problems all the time, right? Fact. And I believe that you get what you focus on. The more you talk about the problem, the bigger that problem gets. Yeah. And at some point, it gets so big that you feel like you can't do anything about it, right? And I think that's what we get caught up in doing instead of talking about the solution, because we live in a world of duality. The same thing is true when you start talking about the solutions all the time. All of a sudden, the problem starts to shrink and the solution gets really big. So I think if we're ever going to get reparations, I think we're going to have to build a solid economic base on our own first and then go get that reparation.
Facts. And I mean, I totally agree. One thing I think we can't do is you just can't throw money. I'm telling you, like I remember I saw somebody had an economic plan about just giving every Black American like $300,000 or something like that. I'm like, that sounds cool in theory, but there is such a thing as inflation. You just give them, you're gonna, dude, it's not gonna work, bro.
It's the bait and switch. It's the bait and switch. You know, you get 300,000. That house that was 300,000 is now 430, 450, 500. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But not only that, we've seen this past year. $1,200 stimulus, $600 stimulus. We see what happens when you put money into the hands of someone who is not financially literate. So what do you think is going to happen when that amount is not 1,200? It's 100,000. It's 200,000. It's 300,000. Guys, the way this whole money game is played, if you took all the money in the world today and split it amongst all the people evenly, in 10 years, it'll be back right where it started.
Yo, it's so funny. We were just talking about that, yo. Like, and that because if you don't have the information, and you don't know what you're doing, like me personally, I feel like you give me 300,000, I can work it. I know, I already know what I'm doing. But but if you don't have the information, you don't know, you're gonna be like back to square one. You see people that win the lotto all the time, they win millions of dollars and they're back to square one, bro.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. I'm on a mission to help people change how they see money, right? Yeah. Because until you change how you see it, you won't change how you behave with it. So I'll give you the analogy that I use quite frequently. It is, we've all been here down to your last $10. You got 4 days to go before payday, and you make that $10 stretch. Even though with that last $10, your kid gonna come in and knock on the bedroom door and say, Dad, I need $3 for a field trip tomorrow. Oh crap, now you tell me. So now 3 of my $10 is gone. So now I got $7 that gotta last me 4 days, right? Don't have no gas in a car. I gotta put $3. So we can make $10 stretch. Why? Because at that point, we see it like the seed and not the harvest. But what happens on payday? We see it like the harvest because there's an abundance. And I'm still guilty of it today. You get the abundance of money, man. You go and grab some stuff that you would normally get with that last $10. You're like, hey, man, you at the checkout line at the grocery store. Now the Snickers bars, oh, that's nothing. I'll put that in, and all of this stuff, man. We got to start seeing every dollar, though, like the seed. What would happen if we treated the whole paycheck like we treat that last $10? We'd be in a different place financially. If we stretch the whole paycheck like we stretch that last 10, we'd be in a different place.
So what are the things that we should invest in? Like, what should our investments look like? Because I see everything online. You know, you see Bitcoin, then you see Acorn, then you see like a lot of different things. And so if a person is living check to check and say they have $10 left, like they have $10 extra after their paycheck, what can they put towards what can they invest that money in that will kind of grow either over time, or what can they do? What should we be investing our money and our energy into?
Yeah, I will tell you that to begin with, that $10 should not go into an income producing asset in the way that you're thinking, like an investment or a piece of stock. That $10 probably would be better served in purchasing a book on finance, purchasing a course on something. That $10 should be invested into your financial education first, invested into yourself. And one of the reasons, so there are a lot of guys who can talk to you about investments, but I'm trying to get to the people pre-investment. See, we get to that place where that's all we got is $10. Well, guess what? If we make some moves before then, we actually free up some more cash flow. I'll give you an example. Most working Americans don't understand how we are taxed, right? There's 2 tax codes. There's one for working people, and there's one for business owners, landowners, and investors. If you make 100% of your money through a job, and this is no disrespect to anybody working a job, you should do something to put food on the table today. But if you're making all of your money through a job, just understand that what you signed up for is the highest tax bracket, period, right? Now watch this. I could take that $10 and say, hey, I bought a $7 course on how to start an online business, right? Took $10, bought a $7 course. Now, guess what? I'm an online business owner. The first thing I get to do is go to my employer and say, hey, I need my tax withholding certificate. Okay, go access it on the portal. On that certificate, which is the form you filled out when you first got your job, and it tells your employer how much to withhold from taxes. Well, if you don't have a business, they're going to withhold the most. But when you adjust it to say I have a business, that will usually create a $300 to $600 pay raise for the average working person in this country, right? So I took a $7 investment into a ebook that said, hey, if you do this, you can have a home-based business, you can have an online business. Now that move created a $300 to $600 increase in the take-home pay on my job. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They let what's called lifestyle creep happen, right? Man, I opened my online business. I got an extra $400 in my paycheck every month. That means I can upgrade my car. That means I can maybe afford some rims on my car. It means I can put some sounds in the trunk or whatever, right? No, that $400 a month would be better served if you took 100 of it and start building you an emergency fund. You took another 100 of it and you start investing in your financial education first, but then ultimately you can just put it into a brokerage account, right? You're not investing in anything. You're just making the habit of every time I get this money, it goes here. And when I get educated about investments, then I'll pull the trigger on an investment, right? And then finally, the other 200 should go to paying down some of your debts, especially high revolving credit card debts. Why? Because you get 2 bangs for your buck. First bang is I'm getting this noose from around my neck of debt, right? Credit cards are killing us. But the second bang is when I pay down the high interest credit card debts, that reduces my utilization on my credit card. So now my credit score gone up. Now, guys, we just put money back into the household and we ain't even sold a single product yet. This is what wealthy people call phantom money. Phantom money. It's money that I get to keep because I no longer have to give it to Uncle Sam. So a lot of people will say, well, Cortez, you got your little business going. You ain't making no money. I just created $400 a month in cash flow. When I start paying off my debt, that money came back into my household. It ain't always about the revenue that comes in. We've got to learn how to strategize our way to wealth. So I start people there so that once your debts are down a little bit, you got your little emergency fund. Now all of your bills are paid and you don't have $10, you got $1,000. Now let's talk about what you can do with that. And for that, I turn you on to some other professionals, right? Some professional stockbrokers, some professionals in the crypto game, some professional in real estate, because our problem ain't what to invest in. Our problem is how do we free up the cash flow so that we can invest? Make sense?
Absolutely.
That's totally accurate. It makes sense, man. That's yo, that's one of the things. Like I had a financial advisor. Like I was just trying to, like I'm like I can do my own finances. I'm good, but it's always good to have an extra eye to look at some things, to give you some extra, some more ideas, whatever. And that was one of the things she always stressed to me was cash flow. Yeah, like, dog, that cash flow is very, very important, yo.
Yeah, and it's one of the most neglected things. And this is why, to G's point, it don't matter how much income we make, we still seem to be broke because we're matching our income with our lifestyle. So you make $100,000 a year, but you're spending 125 every year. You making $250 a year between you and your spouse, but you're spending $300 every year. So you and I are both broke. You just look better in your brokenness. You just ride nicer in your brokenness, right? You just dress flyer in your brokenness. But at the end of the month, when we look at balance sheet to balance sheet, you got $10, I got $10.
I learned that from a cousin, right? I gotta do, man. One of my cousins, bro. This dude, he's wearing like the same clothes all the time, dude. Nobody knew he had money though. But this man he could touch 15,000, he could touch 20,000 like it was nothing though, dog.
Right.
But you look at him on the surface, dog, he look like he don't got nothing.
And that's to me, like we've all seen like the wealthy people. And so like, especially like in hip hop and the rap game, right? So you see everybody who's in rap, as soon as you sign your deal, all of a sudden you get the chain and you get all that and you win all that. But then you look at Elon Musk, who's wearing a polo and jeans or whatever, and he's just, run down shoes or he's just wearing whatever, right?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden now, when it comes to press conferences, when it comes to being seen in the public, we all, that's how we think. But then they're sitting there just like, yeah, well, they're very humble with it or whatever. And they'll be like, yeah, well, guys, I gotta go. I gotta catch a flight to Dubai.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like, where you going? I'm going to Landover. like, like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
Yeah, that's part of the great deception, right? If you guys have never picked up the book, The Millionaire Next Door, it's a dope study on what real millionaires look like, right? And part of that deception is to have us chasing the picture of what riches look like even before we can afford the riches. Now, even when you have people who are flamboyantly rich, we have to understand how they pay for their toys, right? How they do have the $25,000 Rolex watch, right? They don't pay for that with labor. Anytime you spend your time, energy, and effort in exchange for $1, the first thing you should be thinking is, now, how do I take this dollar that I put my labor into to buy some sort of income producing asset, and then my assets will buy my toys, right? That was one of the first lessons I got from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In the book, he talked about wanting to buy a Porsche, and the Porsche was $80,000, $90,000. And he said, most people looking at their income will say, hey, I work for this, I bring this much in a month, I can go buy me a $80,000, $90,000 Porsche. He said, no, I went and bought me an apartment building first, and the apartment building bought the Porsche. Because I'm never trading my labor for a liability. And that's what we're doing. And I try to help people see it this way. Instead of saying how much something costs in dollars, start saying how much it costs you in time, right? If you make $10 an hour and you buy the Xbox 5, the PS5 for $500, you bought that for 60 hours, 70 hours of your life. Because remember, 10 times 50 is the 500. But Uncle Sam got to be in there. So you actually have to do 10 times 70 to make 700. Give Uncle Sam his 2. Now you get your PS5. It cost you 70 hours of your life for that PS5. Not 70.
It's like two weeks worth of work. Yeah.
That's too much worth of work. Come on, man. You kidding me? But we don't understand that labor. Now, you could do the same thing, take that 70 hours and that 700, and guess what? If you're an entrepreneur or investor, you get the whole 700. You don't get the 5 because you pay taxes after you deal with your money when you're an entrepreneur or an investor. Now you might take that whole 7 and you might flip it a couple of times, and then the kick out from that, you buy the PS5. That's what we got to get our people to understand. They're not buying their toys with the money that comes from their labor. They're buying their toys with the money that comes from their assets.
Facts, without a doubt. Dude, so, all right, got a question for you. So, if you could cure poverty with 2 ideas, what would those ideas be?
If I could cure poverty with 2 ideas, I would have to go back to the entrepreneurship piece, because that's going to bring back at least half of the money that you're losing to taxes, right? So if you say you made 100 racks, right, on a job, you're going to pay about $35,000 in taxes, right?
Facts.
Now, if you had a business of some sort, now you could technically get your federal tax bill to 0. But let's just say you just cut it in half, and now you got $17,500 that's not going to Uncle Sam but staying in your household. And you just took that $17,500 every year and you invested it in a small rental property, invested it in some Bitcoin, whatever the hottest investment is that's making the most money, you just did that. That's a game changer. And I know I said 100K, but even if you make 25K, you're still losing about 40% of your income to Uncle Sam. Stop that and then do something smart with the money that you save. That's a game changer. So that's number one. And then if we really want to cure poverty, then we just walk completely away from the matrix altogether, because there ain't no shortage of nothing on this earth. There ain't no shortage of nothing on this earth. Scarcity is a man-made construct based on our economic system. There's enough lumber in one forest to build a house for everybody on this planet, all 7 billion of us. So there's no need for us to be homeless. There's enough, the food grows out of the ground. There's enough food in your backyard that will feed you for the rest of your life, right? But people are starving to death because the way the economic construct is built. And if we all elected to opt out, they'd have to do something radically different, right? So that could literally get rid of poverty. Hey, man, we just gonna live off the land, walk away from this house. Yeah, you're gonna put it on my credit, whatever. I'm gonna walk away from this house, man, and everything that I need is on God's earth, and you can't stop me from picking up a blade of grass, eating it, if I wanted to, right? And I don't need. You can't stop me from finding a cave and sheltering and building me a fire if I had to, right? So I think the economic system, the way it's built, if you're not going to learn how to play it and play it to win, play it offensively instead of defensively, man, I heard you talking about you're playing hoops, man. I'm a former basketball coach and trainer here in St. Louis. So many of us are playing defense when we have nothing to defend. You gotta go get it first.
Right.
Once you got it, then you can defend it. So I would turn up the aggression in this money game if I was going that route. Or shoot, man, if I didn't have a family, I could live in a cardboard box right now. My wife ain't going for
it. Hey, no, I got a partner, man, and it's so funny, man. He has a constant struggle with trying to explain to people the way he lives. He's an entrepreneur. But what he does everything at a low overhead cost, whatever. So he doesn't have a lot of liabilities. He's always operating in cash and credit or whatever. And it's so funny in how some people, like the average mind, can't fathom the way he lives though. And if you're not in that world and you don't understand it, then it does look foreign to you.
Yeah.
So, but now I definitely get when you talking about I can live in a cardboard box. I can, you know what I'm saying? But keeping the overhead low, but he always has cash flow. He's always in business. He's even when business is slow, he's still good because he always has a reserve. He's always good though.
Yeah, that's huge, man, and that's why I want to break the mental chains of what have been put on us when it comes to entrepreneurship. I want you to think about this, man. We went to school and they told us to get a job, right? And they told us either directly or indirectly that entrepreneurship is risky. While at the same time, they trained us how to ask an entrepreneur for a job. Here's how you fill out an application. Here's how you conduct yourself on an interview. Here's what your resume should look like. Here's how you conduct yourself in a corporate. Why am I doing all of that? So that this entrepreneur who created jobs will feel comfortable enough giving me a job instead of helping me understand how I can too be a problem solver and create jobs. But that goes back to following the money, right? Who funds the school systems? The government and big business. How does the government and big business get their money? Big business gets its money from leveraging the labor of employees. Government gets its money from taxing employees. So what else are they going to create out of the school system but employees? It's
the interest, they create workers, dog. It's their interest to create a worker.
Yeah.
Nah, but it's like I said, and we talked about this. It's on you to get out of the matrix. It's on your parents. It's on, but like I said, if you never was taught that information or never was able to obtain it, then you don't know. You don't know how to get out of it, though.
Yeah, yeah, and that's good up until about 20, 21 years old, right? What my parents didn't know, right? What I didn't learn in school. That's good to about 20, 21. But at 21, you got $1,000 computer in your pocket 24/7 that literally has 90% of all the information in the world at your fingertips. And you a grown $$, man or woman talking about what you don't know about money, what you don't know about business.
But you're on TikTok.
It doesn't fly.
But you're on TikTok trying to do the silhouette challenge. Come on, what's your priorities?
Hey man, shout out to women doing the silhouette challenge, man. I salute all y'all, man.
My favorite challenge was the mannequin challenge. Because
oh my God,
most grown folks is stuck in a permanent mannequin challenge. They ain't making no moves.
They ain't doing that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Man. I always tell man, don't get stuck watching on the sideline, man. Like I see it. That's what a lot of social media is, bro. Man was just watching on the sideline, man, being observers, man.
It is, and you salute them for even watching, right?
Facts.
Because there's a lot of people who are burying their heads. They don't want to see. See, they won't see a show like this because our brain is so wonderfully made that once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
And once you see it, you got to take responsibility with what you saw.
Oh no, we pride ourselves. We try to give you the we try to give you the medicine with the candy. We try to do it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. But people will bury their head in the sand so that they don't have to take responsibility for actually knowing a solution.
Ignorance is
if you know a solution and you don't act on it, then that's on you. But if you claim you never knew there was a way out and you stay locked up your whole life, then you have that as an excuse. Oh, I didn't know.
Now one of the biggest things that I'm learning, especially in entrepreneurship and just business, is just the effort, dude. If you just put the effort into something, you don't even. It's the limit. It's limitless, dog. You don't know where it can take you, and just being consistent.
Yeah. There are universal laws and principles that work whether you know them or not. One of them is the law of sowing and reaping. A lot of people don't know seed time and harvest, but it works in your life whether you know it or not. So I give you an example. If I was eating some raw sunflower seeds and I just happen to spill some in the dirt, they're going to grow whether I was actively trying to plant them or not.
Yep.
The law of sowing and reaping works in your life whether you know how to intentionally use it or not. So when you put out good energy is coming back. When you go out and you serve people, then service to you is coming back. When you go out and you invest time, energy, and effort to build anything, the universe, man, is so funny that people don't realize all the universe knows how to do is say yes. Listen, that's the universe has one response to everything. Oh man, I'm gonna go out and build me a great business. Yeah, you sure are. And then all of a sudden, resources start showing up in your life.
Yep.
All the universe knows how to do is say yes.
Nah, that's a fact.
You can say, man, that was so dumb of me. The universe says, yep, sure was. And all of a sudden, you start seeing things that validate that was a dumb move.
And let's
show you and agree with whatever you're putting out there. And when you start putting out good energy, it's going to keep showing you, and that's going to should encourage you to take one more step in the right direction. Man, got a result, looks good. I started saying that I was going to have a podcast, and all of a sudden, a tool like StreamYard showed up in an email, and I clicked on it, and all of a sudden, the podcast. Now I got a podcast. all the universe knows how to do is say yes. The question is, what are you giving it to say yes to?
Right. And I think is also like a lot of people, because with your cell phone, like if you mention one thing, all of a sudden the ads start popping up for that thing. And so like a lot of people are like, oh man, I don't like that. Well, what are you saying? What are you putting out there that is yielding those results that you seeing on your phone? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm putting out positivity, if I'm saying stuff, if I'm training my mind and training the things that I say to just produce great things in my life, then just like your cell phone, those things will show up. So I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
Totally.
man. My mom, who's a minister, said something towards the end of last year that really floored me. And she's always taught me that, the words of your mouth are powerful, and that you got to watch what you say, speak life over yourself and your children and all of that stuff. But she too is getting ready to release her ministry publicly. And she said, the will of God is voice activated. I said, wait, what?
Yeah.
She said, the will of God is voice activated. And if you know that God wants you to be prosperous and in good health, you just got to start speaking that thing, man. Yeah. And watch that transformation start happening. And if you know that it was God who gave you the ability to gain wealth, and you start speaking that thing, then watch wealth start coming. If you know that he said your gift will make room for you at the top, start speaking about how gifted you are in your particular area and watch that gift start making room for you. But what we do is, hey man, the money is the root of all evil. Oh man, I'm so broke. I'm so down. Man, you ask somebody how they doing, man. I'm broke as a joke. And the universe saying, yeah, you sure are.
Yeah.
You sure are.
Yeah.
Nah, and it goes to show, man, if you take something serious, man, and like I said, you never know where to take it. Like me personally, I give all the like a lot of my relationships came from basketball. Like to this day, some of my best friends came from basketball. I got to travel because of basketball. Basketball saved my life, basically, to be honest, because I had no motivation to do schoolwork because I hated school.
Yeah.
I didn't like the concept of school. It just didn't make sense to me. It wasn't fun. I didn't know. But only reason why I did pay attention to school or get grades because of basketball.
Because of basketball, right? Yeah, and I think there's one other word that has gotten a bad name that I want to mention here, and it's one of the reasons that people don't win even when they try, and that's the word obsession. See, when you hear somebody's obsessed with something, that's usually negative. Well, let me ask you a question. How obsessed is LeBron James with basketball? Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan? How obsessed is Elon Musk about getting us out of space? How obsessed is Amazon or Jeff Bezos about being another $1 trillion company? How obsessed was Steve Jobs? We see obsession as a negative thing, but all that means is to fully commit with wholeheartedness and a central laser-like focus. But we don't want to do that. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes, right? So be obsessed with your goals. One of my favorite rap songs of all times is Eminem's "Lose Yourself," and I made a commitment that I was going to lose myself with my one shot in the pursuit of building multi-generational wealth, so that my children and my grandchildren can all pursue their passion without having to worry about chasing a dollar.
Absolutely. I feel like your mind is the biggest thing. It all starts with your mind. It all starts with your mindset, because your mind will tell your mouth what words to say. You know what I mean? What to believe, what you see, and the thing about it is that I just feel like as a people, like our mind is so strong and powerful that we don't use it all the time. We just kind of take the lazy way out and just do what we see instead of putting the faith into ourselves and actually being able to go out and step out on faith. Because faith is a scary thing, but it's not as scary as we think that it is. You know what I mean? Faith is risky. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the reward is so much better than what you're feeling right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's the biggest thing in the world. I just think that once we learn how to change our mindset, I honestly think we'll get over everything that's plaguing us as a people. It's just changing mindset.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's why the power of association is so huge, because God created us all to be, and not just people, but everything on this planet is created to be interdependent, not codependent, not dependent, not independent, but interdependent. Meaning I breathe out carbon dioxide, plants take that in and give me oxygen. We're all built. And because of that, and our us being social beings, we often feel the need for other people to validate our beliefs and our dreams and our goals. And so when we say, I'm going to do something amazing, if everybody doesn't say, yeah, you are, I believe in you, then we kind of cower down and reverse our steps. But, the book I read says all things are possible for him that believes. It didn't say all things are possible for him who's got a wife that believes. It didn't say all things are possible for him who's got homeboys that believe. It only requires one person to believe that I'm going to build a digital and a media company empire that rivals Ted Turner and Walt Disney one day. Y'all don't have to believe it. My wife don't have to believe it. My kids don't have to believe it. My homeboys or homegirls don't have to believe it. Only person required to believe that in order to bring it to pass is me. So I got to make sure I get around the right people who at least will help me or support me. But if you ain't either in those categories, then you can't be around.
Right. And I think you can probably attest to this, man. Being an entrepreneur and being a business, it takes delusional confidence, man.
Yes. Yes. 100% facts.
No, because think about it. Like, even us just doing it, what made us give that audacity that people would listen to us?
Right.
We don't care what are these guys talking about, but guess what?
It happened. It worked.
In a former life, I was a rapper in a former life many moons ago.
You sound like you got bars. I'm not gonna lie.
I remember when we were going through the motions and we was talking about, before our camp shrunk to the guys who actually did it, everybody kept saying, man, how you gonna do that? I'm like, listen, man, hasn't it been done? Are there CDs on the shelves? Are there rap music on the radio? If it has ever been done, then we gonna figure it out how it amazes me, when you're around people who don't have the gall to dream, and they want to question your every dream. It's like, dude, there's 1 million CDs on the shelves today. That's how long ago it was. CDs were actually on the shelves, right? 1 million CDs on the shelves. Well, okay, who's gonna do your artwork? Who's gonna do your cover work? Hey, every CD on the shelf has artwork and cover. If I happen to go pick up a CD cover and look on the back and see artwork by who and call that person, it's gonna get done. Come on. We just like to make excuses in a lot of cases. But to your point, you got to be a little crazy to be an entrepreneur, because if whatever you're trying to do, if you can get it done by yourself, then you're not dreaming big enough.
Nah, without a doubt, that's a fact. And it's nobody. I see it all the time when people. You don't get to where you're going by yourself. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You can't be successful by yourself. Somebody helped you along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That term "self-made millionaire" burns me every time I hear it.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's no such thing.
Ain't no such thing, right?
Nah. Look, you had that. Look, if you got a clothing company, you didn't particularly make the shirt from scratch, did you?
Right.
You didn't have a manufacturer somewhere. You didn't get the material just out of the blue, out of the sky.
Right.
So no, you didn't do it by yourself, man. You had help.
That's right.
Yeah. Nah, man. Hey, Cortez, man, this has been awesome, man. Hey, look, we could do this all day, man.
And we gotta have back on for real. Because
anytime, brother. I appreciate y'all giving me an opportunity to share with your audience, because I'm sure you guys are like me. Like Badu says, keep in mind I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my fans. I don't put anybody in front of my fans. So I appreciate you letting me share with your audience and thinking enough of me to expose your audience to my rhetoric. So thank you guys so much for having me.
Nah, without a doubt, man. We got to come on your platform too as well, man.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, man. You have an open invitation, brother. Anytime.
Yo, because you got to be honest with you, brothers like you're the voices of that people will listen to. Sometimes people not in church, they ain't gonna listen to church talk. They're not gonna listen to, they turned off by church or whatever. But it's just the brothers who've been there, who've been through it, who see it, who got a path that can just drop jewels, is really the cornerstone of the community. So I mean, I applaud you, brother. You really doing your thing, man. You really doing.
Nah, and it's crazy, man. One of the things that drove me to him, man, like I love finances, man. Like that's why I got my master's in finance. Like I always been intrigued by finances because I'm just how money works and everything. And now it's good. It gives me more motivation because I'm starting to see more people that look like me that's taking it serious.
Yeah.
Talking about investing and trying to be financially healthy and everything. And not all of them have a suit on. Cause you're not.
Yeah.
No, cause you think about the stereotype of somebody that's good with finance. They always gotta have a suit on. They always got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And dog. It's people like they dress in hoodies and they talk about finance, and then they look like us, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah, I had a guy tell me on one of my podcasts, man, if you clean your beard up a little bit, somebody will listen to you. And
what?
Like, okay, if that's what you need to hear truth, then you're on the wrong podcast. But the people that need to hear the way I deliver, they're here faithfully. So it's funny that one of the things that this space has revealed to me is that for the first 25, 26 years of my life, I tried extremely hard to convince the world that I really was who I was pretending to be. I'm gonna run that one back because your audience, y'all caught it, but your audience might not have got it, right? I was trying really hard to convince the world that I really was who I was pretending to be.
Yep.
When I got into this space, I realized the power of authenticity. And I was like, this is who I am. Scars and all, and this is what I have to bring to the table. It may not be right. It may not be, 100% sound in the way that it's been done, but this is what I feel that I have been called to do and how I've been called to do it. So I'm going to do me, and those who are here to hear from me, like the scripture says, those who have ears, let them hear.
Got that. Yeah. And there you have it, man. Cortez, tell them where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, listen, speaking of money, we'll be on the Economic Empowerment Week all week as we wrap up the last week in February. So Black Economic Empowerment Week, financial health mentor on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. Financial health mentor, it's the best place to go. If you're looking for a good platform to help you with your money, then check out myperfectmoneyplan.com.
And there you have it, man. Hey, it's the OT Show. I'm your host, E.
Yo, I'm G, and I'm getting ready to go make it rain in San Francisco. Gotta get these kids fed.
Good luck.
OT Show, y'all. We out. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.